Please like the video and share it so that it reaches many more people and you get sawaba, or rewards from Allah. This could be a sawabe jariyah or continuous reward for you long after you are gone.
Volume 3, Book 46, number 713. Narrated by Aisha. I bought Barira, but her masters put the condition that her wallah would be for them. I told the Prophet about it. He said to me, manumit her as her wallah will be for the one who pays the price. So I manumitted her. The Prophet called Barira and gave her the option of either staying with her husband or leaving him. She said, even if he gave me so much money, I would not stay with him, and so she preferred her freedom to her husband. Volume 3, Book 46, number 714. Narrated by Anas. Some men of the Ansar asked for the permission of Allah's Apostle and said, allow us to give up the ransom from our nephew Al-Abbas. The Prophet said to them, do not leave, even a dirham, of his ransom. Volume 3, Book 46, number 715. Narrated by Hisham. My father told me that Hakim bin Hizam manumitted 100 slaves in the pre-Islamic period of ignorance and slaughtered 100 camels, and distributed them in charity. When he embraced Islam, he again slaughtered 100 camels and manumitted 100 slaves. Hakim said, I asked Allah's Apostle, O Allah's Apostle, what do you think about some good deeds I used to practice in the pre-Islamic period of ignorance regarding them as deeds of righteousness? Allah's Apostle said, you have embraced Islam along with all those good deeds you did. Volume 3, Book 46, number 716. Narrated by Marwan and al-Miswar bin Makrama. When the delegates of the tribe of Hawazin came to the Prophet and they requested him to return their properties and captives, the Prophet stood up and said to them, I have other people with me in this matter, as you see, and the most beloved statement to me is the true one. You may choose either the properties or the prisoners, as I have delayed their distribution. The Prophet had waited for them for more than 10 days since his arrival from Taif. So, when it became evident to them that the Prophet was not going to return him except one of the two, they said, we choose our prisoners. The Prophet got up amongst the people and glorified and praised Allah as he deserved and said, then after, these brethren of yours have come to us with repentance. And I see it logical to return him the captives. So, whoever amongst you likes to do that as a favor, then he can do it. And whoever of you likes to stick to his share till we recompense him from the very first war booty, which Allah will give us, then he can do so, i.e. give up the present captives. The people unanimously said, we do that, return the captives, willingly. The Prophet said, we do not know which of you has agreed to it and which have not, so go back and let your leaders forward as your decision. So, all the people then went back and discussed the matter with their leaders, who returned and informed the Prophet that all the people had willingly given their consent to return the captives. This is what has reached us about the captives of Hawazin. Narrated Anas that Abbas said to the Prophet, I paid for my ransom and Aqil's ransom. Volume 3, Book 46, number 717. Narrated by Ibn Orn. I wrote a letter to Nafi, and Nafi wrote in reply to my letter that the Prophet had suddenly attacked Bani Mustalik without warning while they were heedless and their cattle were being watered at the places of water. Their fighting men were killed and their women and children were taken as captives. The Prophet got Juwariya on that day. Nafi said that Ibn Umar had told him the above narration and that Ibn Umar was in that army. Volume 3, Book 46, number 718. Narrated by Ibn Maheraz. I saw Abu Sa'id and asked him about coitus interruptus. Abu Sa'id said, we went with Allah's Apostle in the Ghazwa of Bali al-Mustalik and we captured some of the Arabs as captives, and the long separation from our wives was pressing us hard and we wanted to practice coitus interruptus. We asked Allah's apostle whether it was permissible. He said, "It is better for you not to do so. No soul, that which Allah has destined to exist up to the day of resurrection, but will definitely come into existence." Volume 3, Book 46, number 719. Narrated by Abu Hurairah. I have loved the people of the tribe of Bani Tamim ever since I heard 3 things Allah's apostle said about them. I heard him saying, "These people, of the tribe of Bani Tamim, would stand firm against Ad-Dajjal." When the Sadaqat, gifts of charity, from that tribe came, Allah's apostle said, "These are the Sadaqat, i.e. charitable gifts, of our folk." Aisha had a slave girl from that tribe, and the Prophet said to Aisha, "Manumit her as she is a descendant of Ishmael, the Prophet." Volume 3, Book 46, number 720. Narrated by Abu Musa. Allah's apostle said, "He who has a slave girl and educates and treats her nicely and then manumits and marries her, will get a double reward." Volume 3, Book 46, number 721. Narrated by Al-Marur bin Suwaid. I saw Abu Dar al-Ghifari wearing a cloak, and his slave, too, was wearing a cloak. We asked him about that, i.e. how both were wearing similar cloaks. He replied, "Once I abused a man and he complained of me to the Prophet. The Prophet asked me, 'Did you abuse him by slighting his mother?' He added, 'Your slaves are your brethren upon whom Allah has given you authority. So, if one has one's brethren under one's control, one should feed them with the like of what one eats and clothe them with the like of what one wears. You should not overburden them with what they cannot bear, and if you do so, help them in their hard job." Volume 3, Book 46, number 722. Narrated by Ibn Umar. Allah's apostle said, "If a slave is honest and faithful to his master and worships his Lord, Allah, in a perfect manner, he will get a double reward." Volume 3, Book 46, number 723. Narrated by Abu Musa al-Ash'ari. The Prophet said, "He who has a slave girl and teaches her good manners and improves her education and then manumits and marries her, will get a double reward. And any slave who observes Allah's right and his master's right will get a double reward." Volume 3, Book 46, number 724. Narrated by Abu Hurairah. Allah's apostle said, "A pious slave gets a double reward." Abu Hurairah added, "By him in whose hands my soul is but for jihad, i.e. holy battles, hajj, and my duty to serve my mother, I would have loved to die as a slave." Volume 3, Book 46, number 725. Narrated by Abu Hurairah. The Prophet said, "Goodness and comfort are for him who worships his Lord in a perfect manner and serves his master sincerely." Volume 3, Book 46, number 726. Narrated by Abdullah. The Prophet said, "If a slave serves his Sayyid, i.e. master, sincerely and worships his Lord, Allah, perfectly, he will get a double reward."